Manchester today is a city of music, football, science, and reinvention. It's where stadiums roar, bands become legends, and ideas change the world. But the real question is, how did this place go from a wild river bluff to one of the most influential cities on Earth? In the next few minutes, we're traveling back nearly 2,000 years to watch Manchester evolve, from a Roman frontier fort to a muddy medieval market town to the engine room of the Industrial Revolution, and finally, into the modern powerhouse we know today. And with AI, we can now bring old engravings and historical photos to life, turning flat images into vivid scenes you can almost step into. Let's begin at the start. It's 79 AD. Rome is expanding north into what's now England. Governor Gnaeus Julius Agricola needs strongholds to control movement between key roads, between Chester and York. The location they choose is smart, a sandstone bluff above the meeting point of two rivers, the Medlock and the Irwell. Here, the Romans build a rectangular fort, simple, practical, and built for survival. This is frontier land, cold, wet, and far from Rome's warm Mediterranean heart. Around 500 auxiliary soldiers are stationed here, many recruited from across the empire: Spain, Germany, North Africa. First, the fort is wood and earth. Later, it's rebuilt in stone, and outside the walls, a small civilian settlement grows: a vicus, traders, craftspeople, families, a bathhouse, a Roman inn for officials passing through. It's not a grand city, but it's alive. For centuries, life continues at the edge of empire, until everything collapses. 2. Rome withdraws, and Manchester disappears. In 410 AD, Roman power breaks. Legions withdraw. The roads crack. Buildings are stripped for stone. And within a generation, the settlement fades. For a long time after that, Manchester becomes a mystery. We know almost nothing about these centuries, between Rome leaving and the Normans arriving. The name shifts over time, gradually becoming Manchester. There may be a small Anglo-Saxon community, maybe a church, but history is quiet here. Even in the Domesday Book of 1086, Manchester is barely a footnote. But small places can still change the world, slowly at first. In 1222, Manchester gets permission to hold a market. That sounds simple, but markets mean trade, and trade means growth. The town expands around the market cross. A church rises, St. Mary's, later known as Manchester Cathedral, rebuilt over time in Gothic style. Manchester is still muddy, flood-prone, surrounded by marshland. But it has something valuable: wool. Lancashire produces wool, and Manchester becomes a small center for wool trading and cloth making. Home workshops, simple tools, local business. 4. Civil War and a growing reputation. By the 1600s, Manchester is becoming a proper town. During the English Civil War, it backs Parliament against the king. In 1642, royalist forces attack, but local defenders, often militia with makeshift weapons, hold them off. Manchester earns a reputation: stubborn, organized, and hard to break. By 1650, the population is around 5,000. Still not huge, but the foundations are set. Then comes the century that changes everything. Cotton becomes fashionable in Britain. Lighter than wool, easier to wash, and perfect for dye. But Britain can't grow cotton. It has to be imported as raw fiber. The cotton feeding these mills comes largely from plantations in the Americas and Caribbean, built on enslaved labor and brutal systems of exploitation. This global trade network fuels the growth of Lancashire's cotton industry, and Manchester is perfectly positioned to become its beating heart. At first, cotton is home-based, spinners and weavers in cottages. But then inventions arrive like a storm. 1764, the spinning jenny, 1769, Arkwright's water frame, 1779, the spinning mule. Suddenly, one machine can outwork dozens of people. And these machines don't belong in cottages. They belong in buildings. Big buildings. The factory is born. By the 1780s and 1790s, cotton mills rise across Manchester. Brick giants, steam-powered, packed with machinery and hundreds of workers under one roof. The human cost is brutal. Families crowd into tiny rooms. In industrial Manchester, families live in cramped, dark rooms with no sanitation or clean water. The streets are filthy, and disease spreads easily. Factories run for 12 to 16 hours a day. Children as young as 5 work inside the mills, often in dangerous conditions. Accidents are constant. Cotton dust fills the lungs. Many workers suffer from respiratory diseases. Life expectancy drops to shocking levels. Despite this, people keep coming, lured by the promise of work, as the countryside offers no future. Pressure builds, and in 1819, it explodes. Tens of thousands gather peacefully at St. Peter's Field, demanding political reform. They are met with cavalry and sabers. The Royal Army attacks the crowd, killing and wounding many. The massacre becomes known as Peterloo, a turning point in the struggle for political rights. In 1830, Manchester makes history again with the world's first modern passenger railway to Liverpool. The railway connects Manchester to Liverpool, speeding up travel and linking the city to the global economy. Industry accelerates, and Manchester's influence grows. In the 1840s, Friedrich Engels arrives and witnesses extreme poverty beside extreme wealth. Engels documents the stark contrast in living conditions where the wealthy thrive while the working class suffers. The American Civil War cuts off cotton supplies, triggering the Lancashire cotton famine, leaving thousands unemployed and starving. Facing starvation, Manchester's workers still choose to support abolition. Even as they suffer, workers choose to support the abolition of slavery. They write to Abraham Lincoln, offering their support for the Union, placing human freedom above their own survival. That moral stand becomes part of Manchester's identity. This decision becomes a defining moment for Manchester, showcasing the moral courage and solidarity of its people.